All right, welcome to San Jose, Costa Rica. We landed here a few hours ago in weather that's a little different from this, and I had mentioned in my last flight that I had wanted to go explore a nearby geographic feature in this area called the Irazu Volcano. So that's where we're going. I loaded up the sim and the weather was not good for sightseeing, so I switched the weather to what we have now, which is scattered clouds, about 79 degrees. I haven't flown a 172 in forever, especially with the G1000 suite of equipment. So, fingers crossed. Here we go. I've gotten used to the TBM, man. That's got a lot of power in it. Airspeed's alive. Knots. Up we go. No gear to retract. Don't climb too steeply. I really have gotten used to flying that TBM. We'll fly runway heading here until we get to the end of the runway, which you can just make out there on the PFD at the bottom left screen. There, we're just getting ready to pass over it. Then we'll make our left turn. I'm going to trim this airplane a little bit so I'm not having to pull back on the stick quite so much. Maintain a steady climb rate. We're at 65 knots now. Turning due south. Airspeed's a little low. The 172 has to deal with mixture as well, which I'm unaccustomed to. Mixture is basically just how much oxygen is in the fuel. Higher that you go, the more you have to what's called lean the mixture. I looked at the maps of this area, and the volcano that I want to go to, the Irazu volcano, is west of this area. It's not far. That's why we're in this slow little plane. I'm looking at these clouds and I'm thinking that they're a little more than I need. So let's go ahead and adjust that briefly. Let's make it a few clouds. That's better. I don't know if it's just me, the engine still sounds underpowered. Monitoring our airspeed. No autopilot on this one. We're not using any autopilot. Not worrying about ATC. Airspeed's 67 knots. It's slower than it should be. Let's check our mixture again. That's better. I think that's the volcano straight ahead of us. Figure will take us up to about 7,000. See where we are in relation to the volcano when we get there.
Whiskey Bravo, you are leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved.
I never even got clearance to take off, so.
Coco Tower, Cessna November 34 Whiskey Bravo, frequency change.
I'm not landing, actually.
Cessna November Tree 4 Tree Whiskey Bravo Coco Tower. Enter left base runway 25.
Yeah, I'm
Altimeter 29
just going to ignore that.
271 at 7.
Enter left base runway 25 Cessna Tree Whiskey Bravo.
Just headed east. VFR conditions. Meaning we're just flying by how things look. So try the autopilot. Let's see what happens. 8 feet. I don't know what it's doing. Okay, all right, never mind.
Cessna Tree Whiskey Bravo clear to land runway 25. Wind 271 at 7.
What was that all about?
Clear to land runway 25 Cessna Tree Whiskey Bravo.
Looks like we're hand flying it, friends. Cessna's so forgiving that I'm not particularly alarmed. I absolutely knew that I could not fly this in the TBM. TBM is not, I wouldn't expect it to be characterized as a sightseeing aircraft. So go ahead and synchronize our heading. Let's try that autopilot again. No, I don't know what. Okay, there you go. All right, actually. Okay, now we're in better shape. Heading select on. Good, okay. Now we want it to climb to 7,000. Turn VS on. Okay, but how do I adjust VS? I don't know. Where's my vertical speed? That increases the altitude, but how do I increase the climb rate? Where's that? VS. Vertical speed on. Selected altitude? No. Navigate MFD? No. Well, our airspeed's good. And our altitude's steady. I just would like to be able to climb. What am I missing? Where in the hell is the VS selector? There's the volcano, dead ahead. Need to climb though to see it. I guess we'll just climb by hand. Nope, that's not working. Altitude selection. Altitude hold mode on, no. Vertical speed off. Alright, that'll let us climb. I wonder how you adjust not letting us climb. Alright. Interesting. Okay. Alright, so we'll deactivate the autopilot again. I'm gonna go old school here, friends. Look at these these towns and these villages and buildings on the side of the slopes of this volcano. We'll try to keep our climb rate pretty conservative. I don't want to lose too much airspeed heading towards a mountain. Just go ahead and trim us so that we maintain a steady climb without me having to put any input controls into the controller. In other words, I can just my hands are not on the controller right now. It's just in a trimmed, steady climb. That's clearly the volcano dead ahead. 6,500 feet. Let's trim us up a little more, nose up. Obviously, you have to monitor your airspeed in a climb like this, because the steeper you climb, the potentially slower and more slowly you'll go, and that can be a problem. Because if you go too slow, you'll stall and fall out of the sky. Going pretty slow right now, 95 knots. Safe, more than safe. Our airspeed's more than safe, 95 knots. Climbing at 300 feet per minute. It's interesting how a volcano can look small once you close in on it. Look around, you can kind of perceive the mountainous nature of this area. Look at the town down there. Wow. So neat to. Graphics are so extraordinary that you can almost feel like you're visiting Irazu Volcano. I was thinking about visiting this from Liberia, but that would have been a heck of a long sightseeing trip. You know, a half hour here, half hour back, not to mention looking around. So that's why I decided to just fly straight to San Jose and then rent this Cessna. 3 Whiskey Bravo's back at the airport, parked. Trees, trees, and more trees. See what we'll see as we get over this ridge. Climbing still steadily. Airspeed's maintained 95, 94 knots. 7,300 feet now. Steady climb still, 250, 300 feet per minute. Airspeed's fine. I think I just realized that our flaps are still deployed. Yep. Good. Okay, that'll speed us up even more, but it's also going to affect our altitude. So let's not crash. Let's trim up a little bit more. Retracting the flaps obviously affects how the airplane climbs. Look at that. Wow. Gotta watch our airspeed. 104, 103. Climbing a little aggressively now. Trim again. I still have not touched the flight stick. Doing this all by trim. I don't know if I knew exactly what to expect. In terms of volcanoes. Beautiful jungle, rainforest though. Based on my math, we're on the northwestern slopes of Irazu Volcano. Airspeed's fine, 102. Just about 8,000 feet right now. Take a look outside. Wow. Let's hang it right. Old school, remember, flying it by hand. Make sure we don't do any aggressive maneuvers that could cause us to stall out. Look at the graphics up ahead. That's interesting. Why it looks weird. What that's all about. Let's go check it out. Very cool. But yeah, look at the I don't know, the distortions. It does not look good at all. I have a theory, just a theory, but all this stuff is based on satellite images. All the scenery is based on satellite images that are taken of this area. And if you look at satellite images of this area, you'll notice that it's almost constantly covered by clouds, which makes me wonder if that's the volcano dead ahead, by the way. It makes me wonder if the sim did not know what to do about that. In other words, there's clouds. It never did get a picture of the ground. And so what we're seeing on this right here are clouds as seen by the satellite from space. And it doesn't know how to render them. I think that's probably what we're dealing with. Obviously headed straight towards the top of the volcano. You can actually see it depicted rather nicely here. Not going to clear it at our current climb rate, so we're going to have to deviate. We'll still keep climbing, but if we kept climbing, there's no way we could climb steeply enough to be able to get up here. So we're just going to turn around. Still headed east. East-northeast, 077. Airport's behind us. Keep our climb going, or we'll never see it. But when you're hand flying, you want to really keep a sharp eye on your airspeed. You can't just yank the stick back and expect it to climb. I mean, it will climb if you yank the stick back, but only for so long, because it'll bleed off so much airspeed that you'll be at risk of stalling. Stalling is not what you associate with a vehicle, a car stalling. Airplane stalling simply means that there's insufficient wind going over the wings for the aircraft to generate lift. 9,000 feet now. Still climbing. 93 knots on the airspeed. But the mountain's still above us. Yeah, see, I think this is cloud cover that the sim didn't know how to render. Interesting. Watch that airspeed. We're good. 93 knots. We're just fine. Okay, coming up on top here. You can actually make it out. Some areas it is able to render. Other areas it just, you can see it just gets confused. There's obviously no snow. We're up in the crater. Actually see it depicted here. Well, I wouldn't want to do this at night. 9,400 feet, 90 knots. I think you can actually make out, there it is, way in the distance. That's the Atlantic. That's the Atlantic. That's very cool. Because we saw the Pacific on our way in. That's always kind of fun when you can say you saw the Atlantic and the Pacific the same day. Very mountainous. almost 10,000 feet now, 93 knots. Now we'll make our right turn. Again, watching our airspeed, watching our altitude. Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Irazu Volcano. Still gotta fly this plane, however. Almost 10,000 feet. Airspeed's good, 90 knots. Let's see how close we're gonna get to these treetops. What do you say? Wow. This is intimidating. I love the sunshine. The way it's so realistic. We're going to turn into the sun here. You just got to avoid, you know, summit fever, where you just think, we're almost there, Just climb a little more steeply, That's a recipe for trouble. So right now we're at 10,385 knots. I'm prepared to turn to the left, but I think we'll clear that without any problems. Boy, talk about famous last words, huh? Airspeed's fine. Woo! I'm giving the tourists a run for their buck. Oh my gosh. Got sweaty palms here at this point. Yowzers. Alright, we're okay. Whew. I think my heart rate's actually gone up. 80 knots.
500.
Oh, 500 AGL. Yikes. Oh shit. Jesus Christ. Yikes. There it is. Almost reach out and touch the leaves.
500.
Okay. Turn left here. Follow this ridge line back. Kind of disappointed with the with this. I don't know what that is. Looks like a frickin' blanket. That's a shame. All right. Then we'll head back. An otherwise beautiful day, however, in Costa Rica. Thankfully, we're not using real weather. $10,700, airspeed's 105. Still seeing little anomalous things. I don't know what this is. I don't even know what that is. There's us, headed due west. Not to that, but to the other one right up there, which we'll contact as we get closer. I guess technically we've still been cleared to land. Sorry, I don't have as much to say as I usually do. Hand flying like this, VFR, without a particular destination, isn't my usual bailiwick. The Sims got really phenomenal graphics and scenery, but you definitely, if you go digging, can find anomalies. But I was down in Costa Rica and wanted to check out the Irazu volcano as we continue our descent. I'll tell you a little bit about the Irazu volcano. Irazu volcano is an active volcano in Costa Rica, situated in the Cordillera Central, close to the city of Cartago. In Costa Rica, it is known by the name of El Coloso, Colossus, due to the catastrophes that it has provoked in the past. The volcano's summit has several craters, one of which contains Diego de la Haya, a green crater lake of variable depth. I didn't see a green crater lake. Where? Uh-oh. Shit. Got icing. That's all I need. Icing. Oh boy. This may end up being more of an adventure than we thought. I'm curious now about something. Let's hope that ice doesn't get out of control. We might end up getting to explore this volcano even more than we thought. Oh, Jesus. I don't have anti-icing on this aircraft either, by the way. I have lost airspeed indicator. Turn our pitot heat on. I said I don't have anti-icing equipment. That's true except for pitot heat. Our airspeed is back now. Thank goodness. Basically means is it got clogged or blocked with ice, and so we stopped receiving airspeed information. This has turned out to be much more exciting than I expected. We're all iced up. Not seeing too much icing on the wings, however. Gotta steer clear of those clouds. Go into clouds in cold conditions and you can definitely have problems. The airplane is flying heavy right now because of the ice. So, keeping a close eye on things here. Airspeed 90 knots. And again, I'm not interested in doing adventure flying, so if I can't keep things safe, then that's that. Gotta watch out for the scenario where you just start climbing just to try to maintain a steady climb, and meanwhile your airspeed's dropping. I don't know if we're going to lose this ice until we descend. But the airspeed's okay. I mean, it's not dropping precipitously. But we are. Noticing us I'm having to trim more and more. This is probably a pretty classic icing situation. Okay. Well, let's start heading back. Trying to do a coordinated turn here. Get out of this cold air, get rid of this ice. I have no interest in dying. Want to get back before sunset anyway. Boy, that icing crept up on us. We've still got it too. We're okay. Monitoring our airspeed. Descending too quickly. So we'll trim that up a little bit. It's amazing now, you can actually feel the anxiety. We're good though. Just need to descend to get that ice off the plane. Safety of the passengers is obviously paramount. So we're heading home. Described as a popular tourist spot, the Irazu volcano is the highest active volcano in Costa Rica, easily visited from San Jose. The summit of the volcano houses a few television transmitters, or television stations in San Jose. From the top, it's possible to see both the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans on a clear day. Well, we saw the Atlantic. And, at least on our visualizer here, there's the Pacific out there. If you lose some of this ice, we might be able to see it as well. Of course, they did say on a clear day. And this is late in the afternoon, so we've got the sun. We are in real time. This is 3:52. Where I am, 16:42 local time. Airspeed's good, 97. I know that the Pacific is out there, but I'm thinking that the yeah, see. Just that the glare is affecting us. Airspeed's fine. Kind of feels like we're in a weird nose-up attitude, but I'm just looking at my instruments and we're fine. Airspeed's 107. Descending. We're at 9,200 feet. Look outside. All downhill from here. I'll be more relaxed when I get this ice off the frame, though. Still got more clouds to go through, so what happens. Outside air temperature is -3. Hold your horses. Glad and comfortable with instruments, because I think we're about to be blinded, at least visually. This is good training. I actually didn't expect to have any kind of adventure on this flight, but you really can't stop learning. Low fuel. Oh no. That's funny. You see our low fuel alert? Low fuel right, low fuel left. But yeah, we're fine. We got plenty of time. Anyway, my point is, I've watched and learned enough about flying to know that the day you stop learning is the day that you start dying. And to always work to improve, learn, study, because there's always something to work on, always. And this is an interesting situation where we went up to just go look at a mountain, And now we're in a low fuel, high icing situation. Having to depend pretty significantly on instruments. And that's good. That's good practice. You know, it's one thing if you have autopilot mastery and so on and so forth, but it's important to be able to know how to fly the plane. And all planes are identical when it comes to the basics. We already know that the approach course for this runway is 248. So we'll pre-program that in on our heading bug. And now we know which direction we'll be facing when we land. We're already at 6,900 feet, and I don't want to keep descending too much because I know that the runway is, I think, 30 airport elevations. I wrote it down. I think it's like 30, yeah, 3,021 feet. The icing has been described as a little aggressive, put it that way, in this game. Our outside air temperature, though, is 2 degrees. It almost certainly is much warmer than that in real life. But I changed our weather settings so that we wouldn't have to deal with what it's really like down here. We're headed over here to MROC. Change our course. Well, this is a line, so we're heading towards it. I'm just trying to figure out how to change the direction needle. No. I missed my TBM. I'm not even sure we have correct information when it comes to our CDI because it's not moving at all, and that doesn't make a lot of sense. Please, I really don't think we would still have ice. This is an excellent, excellent example about how you need to be able to understand your instruments in this game, because if I were only flying visually, I have no idea, none, where I am or how to get there. Fortunately, I have some familiarity with the instruments. It'd be a little nicer if we could see out the window. Airspeed's fine though, 100 knots. Trim up a little. Man, the glare is really modeled nicely. Really wish that the ice would disappear. Oh, look at that. It's cool. Airport's at about our 11 o'clock. I cannot see it. About 2,000 feet AGL right now, which is fine. Definitely need to brush up more on this 172 with the G1000. Icing's still a problem. 4 degrees outside. Really should be under control right now. Believe it or not, the airport is right in front of us. This is so ironic. I just tried to do a basic, simple little tourist flight, and I ended up signing up for a very challenging flight. That I was not expecting. Make sure they know we're coming. No, they still think we're landing. They haven't given any contrary instructions. Let's go ahead and slow down. I think I see it. Flaps. Early, but I'm more concerned about getting on the ground at this point. We're low on gas. You see the runway right here, right off my left. There it is. This is where we started, folks. Holy mackerel, this turned out to be way more of a challenge than I was expecting. Descending rapidly, but I'm gonna get on the ground. Wow. I'm descending too rapidly for their taste.
500.
Okay, there we go. All right.
Short final runway 25.
I cannot believe that I found that in this glare. Slow us down. What about 55, 60 knots on final? I mean, near touchdown. Fortunately, a nice long runway. We're not going to have any issues. 65. Ice is finally dissipating. Not used to handling the landing. Let's see if we can stall. Come on, stall. Where's that stall horn? I'm porpoising right now. Floating. All right. Little bounce.
Cessna Tree Whiskey Bravo turn, next taxiway.
Laps in. All right. Well, hey, listen. I'm gonna
Cessna
stop
Tree
here
Whiskey
and
Bravo, contact ground on 121.9er.
leave it at that. Well, I hope you enjoyed your 43-minute
Going to 121.9
flight of
Cessna Tree
terror.
Whiskey Bravo.
Started out first half quite pleasant. Boy, that second half, I don't know about you. I was sweating bullets. Anyway, we're back where we started. One piece. My next flight will be in the TBM. 3 Whiskey Bravo. We're out.